I just want to remind everyone of the policy we have implemented in the city in our meetings and on premises. All those that have been vaccinated and have been through their 2-week waiting period may remove masks, but anyone that has not been vaccinated or hasn't qualified for vaccination will be asked to wear your mask during this meeting. Okay, we had the minutes sent out to us. Is there any additions or corrections need to be made? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Kevin.
I'll second.
I have a second from Phil. Further discussion on that? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes approved. I'd like to now just call upon the Jasper Mayor's Youth Leadership Council members. They've come forward tonight and are on the agenda to present what their project is about. It's all information. There's no decisions to be made or anything. So they've organized themselves in order, and I guess you'll introduce yourselves and then go through the presentation.
Go in front.
All right. It's all yours.
So we're the Jasper Mayor's Youth Leadership Council.
Would you step up to the mic, please?
We're the Jasper Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. My name's Edwin Sanchez, and I'm a senior on the council.
My name is Lauren Verkamp. I'm also a senior, and I'm the president of the council.
I'm Kendallyn Herm. I'm a junior.
I'm Hallie Hebert. I'm a junior.
I'm Maggie Hubster, and I'm a junior.
I'm Yash Basra, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Isaac Heim, and I'm a senior.
There are 16 members of the Jasper's Mayor Youth Leadership Council, and Lisa Bauer is our group leader.
So next, we're going to tell you a little bit about us and our project.
We are a group of high schoolers who get together to work on a project every year to improve our community. And this year our project is to build a Welcome to Jasper sign to make our community more welcoming to visitors and more homey towards us. And can you hit it again? The problem with the signs now, they are dull, they're outdated, and they're ordinary. So we wanted to make something special for our own community.
As a lot of us are leaving for college in the next couple of years, we've been thinking a lot about graduates returning to our city as well as any other visitors, and we wanted to make a lasting impression so that everyone can see how much we value our home. So we just wanted to better the overall image of Jasper and show people what a great place it is to be.
Can I move this? I'm short. So while trying to figure out what we wanted to do with our sign to make it special to us, we were trying to figure out ways to make it special to Jasper by including what you can see. We have the courthouse and then St. Joe's, and you can see on the little bottom corner a mill. And we just wanted to make it special so that people would see what they're coming into. But then after figuring out more of what we could do and how we could do it, we ended up with our new sign, which looks like that.
So our new signs are based off the south side sign, as most of you guys have seen. And we originally had an idea to include the clock tower and St. Joe's, but we had to remove that due to like driver safety and reasons. And we tried to keep it simple. We had a lot of logos and stuff on it, but we had to keep it simple.
Okay, so if you're imagining Jasper coming in from Hayesville on the north side, before you before you get to 47th Street, so about a quarter mile before you get into Jasper. This is on the right side. That's where we're going to be placing the sign. The Sermersheim family is so graciously letting us place the sign there. And I think the reason that they were so allowing us to place a sign there was because we really have a classy idea, and they want to be a part of that in our project and stuff. So they were very nice to let us put the sign there. And but anyway, where we're placing it, the reason it's going to be so costly is not just the sign itself, but with the lease that we're going to have with them. We want to have this sign be there for about, at least a 20-year lease. We want it to be solid and be able to last for a long time. So where we're putting it, we're going to have to take, that's on a plot of their farmland, so we're going to have to take out about 8 rows. So that's going to be a part of the lease and how expensive it's going to be.
So just a little outline of the process we had to follow to get this project moving, and now we're in the process of completing it. So first we had to select location and approve the landowners, which Hallie just talked about. And we looked at 2 landowners primarily, the Hebners and the Sermersheims, and we ended up settling on the Sermersheims, and now we're just working out with them. And then the next big thing we had to do was create a design, figure out what we wanted to implement with the sign, find who was going to produce it for us, and we've been working with 2 sign guys throughout the process. So once we formulated our design and got that all figured out, we have to now fundraise, which is a big obstacle to our project, and we've been doing pretty well with that. We're in the process of doing that right now. And we've also been working on city and state violations, so we have to deal with the city right away, or the state right away with the highway. We have to maybe get a permit through them, and then we also have to get a variance through the city, just because of the size of the sign. And then the next thing that we're going to move to is start actually building the sign, which we're not quite to yet, but we are on our way there. And then coming along with producing the sign, installation, landscaping, maintenance, and then, yeah, so that takes us where we are now. Go ahead. So obviously a big obstacle in this project was the cost of it all. And this is just kind of an outline of the different, like an itemized outline of what we have to pay for. And then, so a big chunk is going to be actually producing the sign. So that's going to be paying 2 sign guys to actually make the sign. We actually were able to get the masonry and foundation donated by Bramwell McKay. So that was great. That was a huge expense cut out for us. And that includes general maintenance too, cleaning the sign periodically, whatever repairs that may come up. And then the next big chunk is the lease fee, which we're still working out, obviously. So like Hallie said too, we're gonna have to pay for some crop loss, and we'll have to work out probably at least a 10-year contract. So we're all still designing that, and then it'll be, like it says, 15,000 plus around there. So.
Is that for one sign?
Yep.
Hayesville?
Yep. On the coming into the north side there.
Yep.
And that's our project for this year. Do any of you have any questions about it? We'll try to answer as best as we can.
I think it's a great project. We're always lacking that sign on the north side, so. Yeah,
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I didn't know how they really felt about it until they came up with it. It kind of made you feel bad, you know? You're right. We need to upgrade our signage.
So how's the fundraising going? Where are you at, if I may ask?
We do have someone who's going to donate the materials for the masonry of the sign. So if you want to go back to the picture of the sign, do you remember who the name was?
Lisa.
Bramwell McKay.
Bramwell McKay. They're going to help us with the materials for the outside pillars and the bottom edge of the sign. We're going to have to pay for the inside, the actual sign part with 2 sign guys. And I think we're at, was it $6,250 right now that we've fundraised. And we've gotten this money from various donors, yeah. And so it's making its way up there, but we still have a little ways to go before we're set in stone, because there's going to be different things like lighting if we want to have lighting, and of course maintaining the sign throughout the years. The sign will eventually, paint will wear off, things like that, and we'll want to maintain and keep it. And if we want anything like landscaping around the sign, we'll need to maintain that and put that in place, and so that'll all factor into the cost of the sign.
Your $15,000? Your $15,000, and then if you take off the Bramwell McKay donation, is that less than $15,000?
It's going to be a little less.
About 11,000.
Thinking
We hope
about
so.
it.
We want you back. Great group.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look at Nancy. At least to get in there.
Smile with your. Everyone say, let's build a sign.
You know, I give these guys credit. Last year we did the mural, and Evelyn and I were just kind of talking a little bit about the comparison of projects. This is a much more complex project than the mural was, because I was contracting with an artist, and the artist really did the design and everything on it. So they've gone through a lot, and I think they've learned a lot along the way. It'll prepare them in the future when they want to come before the council in the future for any kind of project. So I think it's a good project for them.
What's your time frame as far as completion?
All right. We want to complete it by the end of summer. It's more of a tentative timeline. So late July is where we're kind of looking at. Of course, if we can get it done sooner, the sooner the better. But that's kind of what we're looking at for right now.
When you get that done, let's do a ribbon cutting and make a big deal.
All right, thank you for coming and presenting to the council. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is ordinance number 2021-12, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing a fund for the American Rescue Plan. This is coronavirus local fiscal recovery plan.
Just a correction on that. I did make it 2021-14. We already used 21-12.
2021-14. Okay, could I have a motion to consider the ordinance for one reading only?
I'll go ahead and make that motion, Mayor.
I have a motion from Paul,
I'll second it.
a second from Dave. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only.
I'll make a motion to read by title only.
I have a motion from Nancy to read by title only. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Chad. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, would the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-14?
Ordinance number 2021-14, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing a fund for the American Rescue Plan, Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2021-14?
I'll make that motion.
Kevin,
I'll second it.
Second from Dave. Any further discussion on this?
Just inquiring again, sorry, Kevin, about how much approximately will it be for Jasper total?
3.28.
3.2, okay.
3.28 million is what we've been told.
Yeah. And that's still just an estimate. They haven't officially come out and told us the exact amount yet.
We'll get half of it. They're still working on some of those. Yeah, there's a lot of that's being ironed out through the state now.
Yeah.
In the ordinance, it says the funds are to be used no later than December 31st, 2024. The longer they put off establishing those guidelines, do you think that date may change?
I doubt that date changes. The guidelines are going to come out. They get us money next month. The guidelines, they're going to come out pretty quickly after that.
I guess if it does change, we'll just have to make a motion and adapt the ordinance.
They have issued some guidelines.
There's some, and so we know that some of the funds can be used for infrastructure. Some of them can be used for revenue recovery in areas where we lost revenue over the last year. And so those things we'll have to sort through as we go through budgeting. But at this point, there's still some loose ends to be tied down.
Yeah, we will have to appropriate the money, and then also you guys have to approve a plan for that money at some point in the future.
It's a good problem to have, a little stimulus there. So we've got a motion from Kevin and a second by Dave. Any further discussion? If none, I'd entertain a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. What time is it? I can't see the glare up there. 5:48.
It is 47.
Next item on the agenda is resolution number 2021 what is it, 13?
No, that's an ordinance.
Ordinance.
2021-9, I believe. Isn't it? That's a resolution.
Resolution.
I got ordinance number 2021
13.
13.
13, yeah.
13, isn't it?
Yeah, you just made the correction on the wrong one. This one should have been 14, that's 13 on our agenda.
All right, I've got 2021-14 is the fiscal recovery plan. The next one's 2021-9 is what I have.
Yeah. That's the resolution.
That's a resolution. Okay. So the fees, is that on the agenda for tonight?
That's on my agenda.
I see it.
I don't have anything on fees, so.
We just crossed out the wrong number on yours. This one went from 12 to 14, and then you had 13, you scratched to 14, so. Do you have that one?
I didn't have this one.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you got his.
Okay, so we're on 2021-13 at this point in time in the agenda. Sorry for the confusion on that. 2021-13. Is an ordinance of the Common Council, City of Jasper, establishing fees for activities of the Jasper Department of Parks and Recreation as amends Jasper Municipal Code, Section 1.15.010. With that, is this a one reading only? Yes. So if I could have a motion to consider the ordinance for one reading only?
That's a move.
By Ms. Chad?
Second.
Second from John. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Could I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
Make the motion by title only, please, Mayor.
I have a motion from Paul for title only.
I'll second.
I have have a second from Phil. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Would the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-13 by title only?
Ordinance number 2021-13, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing fees for the activities of the Jasper Department of Parks and Recreation, amending Jasper Municipal Code Section 1.15.010.
Okay. Could I have a motion to pass and adopt 2021-13?
I'll make that motion.
Nancy?
Second, Paul?
I have a second from Paul. Further discussion?
On my ordinance, it says the Alvin C. Rooksor Municipal Golf Course.
It's deleting that,
What?
deleting the Rooksor course from the ordinance.
Of course.
It deletes the Rooksor course fees.
Okay.
Section 2 eliminates that section.
And it's my understanding that the $2.49 fee is to be paid by non-members when using the Golf Now reservation system, but the city website option is still there?
Yeah, I'll just walk through that. So if someone goes online, regardless of whether they are a member or a non-member, and they use the Golf Now website, they will have to pay the $2.49 booking fee. If they go online and book via the city's website, the Parks and Rec, then only non-members will have to pay the booking fee.
So members are encouraged to go through the cities.
That's right.
Ask a question. Why do we have such funny numbers on here? 18-oh cart rental, $14.02. And we have pull cart rental, $1.64.
So that if once tax is added to it, it comes out to an even number.
Live with that. Okay.
Works out great as long as the tax rate doesn't change. That's right.
I just thought it looked weird.
And then we did use this as an opportunity, as you referred to earlier, to clean up the language so that not only did we remove the sections dealing with the Alvin C. Rooksor Municipal Golf Course, but we also made sure to change any lingering Jasper Municipal Golf Course to Buffalo Trace Golf Course.
Any other questions on it? If not, I have a motion from Nancy and a second from Paul. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is resolution number 2021-9. It's a resolution of the Common Council, City of Jasper, designating a portion of the city as an economic revitalization area. And this is in reference to the Indiana furniture industries. So, could I have a motion to consider resolution for one reading only?
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Nancy.
I'll second.
Second from John. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Could I have a motion to have the resolution read in full or by title only?
I will go ahead and make the motion to read by title only.
I have a motion from Paul. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Kevin. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Will the city attorney please read resolution 2021-9 by title only?
Resolution number 2021-9, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Jasper designating a portion of the city as an economic revitalization area. Indiana Furniture Industries Incorporated.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt Resolution 2021-9?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Kevin. Second from Nancy. Further discussion?
Mayor, I was contacted with some questions about when the, well, I don't know if it's the language, but when the current IFI property comes off of abatement, the current abatement, whether or not those tax revenues are falling into TIF. I think that we are of the mind that that existed before the central TIF district was created, established. Therefore, the tax revenues from that property is going to go through normal channels. Is that correct?
If the abatement was granted prior to the establishment of the central area TIF, it would be going through the redistribution to other taxing units.
It would become part of the base.
Do you guys know when you were fully assessed on your completion of the one you got the abatement on currently? I think it's something we'll have to check with the county auditor on to really confirm the dates.
Yeah.
I think you went through the tax abatement originally in 2011.
2011 is when our original abatement was approved by the council.
Right.
And when was the building finished?
I think, I don't remember, I think it would have been done by the end of 2012, but I'm not certain of that.
Okay. So there's probably a 2-year window in there that before the TIF was formed.
TIF was formed at the end of 2014 and finalized the beginning of 2015.
So the abatement that was granted, it should be
Should roll to the county.
Yeah, it should be coming back.
All the taxing units, not the county, yeah.
It's no surprise, obviously, you've been talking about it, that this property is in the central area TIF. So one thing that we do have to do as part of the process when you make a motion to pass this resolution is to acknowledge in your motion that it is part of the central area TIF. That's just a legal requirement.
And we may have to do that, but I don't think the Economic Development Commission did that.
No, they don't.
They don't have to do that.
It's the legislative body.
Okay.
Other discussion?
So, Travis contacted all of us on behalf of probably the other taxing entities, so I think we should at least pay him respect a little bit that he's here. And so, John, what are you saying that we will contact the county auditor's office about?
Well, I mean, just to reassure that when the tax base was established is what you would find out. If it was established before the TIF was established, then the base tax rate was already locked then.
Right. But their request apparently, though, is after this tax abatement period ends.
That has nothing to do with this new one that we're talking about.
This, I know that. But it's still something, I guess, to investigate. And I'm not proposing it go one way or the other, just to kind of answer their concern. And they already presented a letter to another body a couple weeks ago.
If you want, I can follow up with the auditor tomorrow and send everybody an email if you want me to do.
That'd be very helpful. Thank you, John.
Any questions regarding 2021-9?
I would just like to say this is a great project, and it's definitely adding a lot to your safety of your workplace and just the whole overall modernization, I guess, of your workplace. And I think it's fantastic, and thank you for investing that much money, not only in your own company, but in the city of Jasper.
Yeah, I think in the redevelopment or
Economic
development.
I keep getting confused, but in the meeting, they overviewed their investments, and they actually invested more than they had originally planned, which is what we hope. We hope to spur that kind of investment in our businesses. And I guess when I look at history and what we were trying to do, that, you know, if not for this investment that they made back then, we wouldn't have maybe this additional investment coming forward, you know? So the fact that you're able to bring your technology up, locate in a more effective building at that point in time, and now you're looking at, you know, the opportunities in the future, I think is what this is all about. You know, we want to keep these local companies healthy and keep the employment going here. The other thing I noted in that report was that your wages continue to climb. And I think that's important. That's an important part of why the point system is the way it is. So
it looks like this is a 9-year abatement. So how would this factor out? Like the first year would be how much abated up till the 9th year? I don't see that in here. Maybe it's in here, I just don't see it.
I don't know. Did you calculate the numbers, Ellen?
No, I don't know what 9 years.
Bernie might have that.
One's 9 and the other one's 5.
Right. Personal property was 5. That's the max.
Okay, well, I'm just talking about the percentage that's paid. Of course.
I thought you were asking for actual dollars. Did I bring that? Yikes. I want to say 9 is 25% in the 9th year, 50% in the 8th year, 75% in the 7th year, and then 100%.
Okay.
6. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
questions?
I do have one for Indiana Furniture. I noticed on the personal property tax, I've had a few people question the machinery and equipment that you're buying. Is any of that being bought local?
It will depend upon what it is. Some are from national providers. Some of that would be local as well. At this point, I don't know which will fall into both either bucket, but there'll be a mixture of both.
Okay, thank you.
And one of the requirements is that they could not qualify for this if they had already placed a purchase order for the equipment, so, you know.
Yeah, so there's nothing on order, nothing started on the project. We also will be in the building of the property, will be using local contractors, which is also part of what the Economic Development Council, that was part of their evaluation. So that would all be with local support there.
Like I say, the questions I have heard has been basically on the machinery, like the lines and stuff like that you're going to be using inside the plant. So their concern is that, you know, that it's all being taken outside the state even there. So
and some of that, I'm sorry.
Anything you can do to, you know, get some of that equipment around here would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and some of that is when we look at some of the robotic options, there might be a local provider or a seller, but it may not be made locally, so we'll be getting it from other parts of the country.
Yeah, I realize you guys got to do what you got to do, but like I said, anything you can spend on around here would.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely prefer to do that. Being a local company, we want to try to keep things local.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think they received a score of 5 on that, using local suppliers, contractors. So. Other questions, comments?
Just a reminder to make sure that in the motion that is acknowledged about the central area TIF.
I made the motion, so I'll add it is in the central TIF district.
So Kevin made a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-9, which happens to be in the central area TIF.
Max, you wanted to...
Mayor, I was going to ask, are you going to want us to run through the presentation we gave at the Economic Development Council?
I'll leave that up to the group because several councilmen attended that, I remember. Yeah. But why don't you go ahead? At least for the public, would at least have that.
Through that for everyone. Lisa will pull it up here.
Check out our technology system.
Yes.
See if we can test it, you know. That's right.
Test it.
caught you off guard.
You did catch me off guard. I thought I had on the, hang on a second. I had it up and I just used it.
Well, while she's pulling that up, I can just kind of start talking here a little bit. Most of you probably know, but Indiana Furniture celebrated its 116th birthday just a couple months ago. So we've been part of this community for a very long time, and our intent is to continue to be part of this community ongoing. That our core, our heart, everything is here. So when we look at how do we stay competitive, a lot of it has to do around the products and services we provide to the customers. An office today does not look anything like an office 10 years ago. An office 10 years from now is going to look different, and we're going to have to continue to be innovative in that area so that we remain a viable part of this community. If you want to flip ahead a couple. So that just talked a little bit about how we remain competitive. The next slide just is a little bit about our history. We've changed names. We've, through the course of those years, we have added facilities. Most recently, we expanded the plywood facility in 2011, which we've mentioned was abatement. And today we're Indiana Furniture, and it is very important for us to stay, continue to innovate and be, especially on the product and service side. So if we go to the next slide, what we're proposing is 165,000 square foot manufacturing and shipping expansion on the south side. We call it our flatline facility. It's the one on the east side. We have an east building and a west building. It's on the east. And we're going to be moving really all of our operations out of Mill Street. Manufacturing, shipping, maintenance, raw material storage into that new expanded facility. Right now we have those operations on all 4 floors of our current building, which is very inefficient, elevator dependent, and not really feasible to today's manufacturing. We also want to improve our finishing capabilities and our machining capabilities. We have begun making more of our plywood chair parts. We're trying to become experts at that so that we keep the labor here in Jasper to do that rather than outsourcing it to outside vendors. We want to automate certain functions. Right now in the Mill Street facility, we have limitations as to what we can automate. For example, we just purchased last year a cutting machine, a fabric cutting machine. And in that building, which is very stable, no structural concerns, but only certain parts of that building can handle on the 3rd floor a heavy machine like that. So where we put it, we had to then revamp our entire process flow to accommodate where we could put the cutting machine. And we want to do some additional automation that will help us to be efficient and relevant in the marketplace. It consolidates most of our manufacturing to one location. We'll see some safety and environmental improvements because right now we have trucks driving between all of our facilities, milk runs all day long, just driving big circles, moving product from one place to another. So that'll take some truck traffic off and also some environmental impact because we won't have the truck going through. And we plan to do this in some phases. We need to build the building, move in some, settle, move the next phase, and continue to work out the process there. So it's going to be, the reason for the multi-year plan on some of that is we don't want to just rush everything in and then have chaos on the manufacturing, which upsets our customers at the end of it, which we don't want to do. So why the expansion? Seating, which is in our Mill Street facility, and you see there at the bottom an older picture of the facility, but it really hasn't changed too much since that time. Part of that building's from 1915, back in the original footprint. But the type of seating, and you'll see that on the next couple slides once we get there, is significantly larger than chairs like Lisa's sitting in, guest chairs, chairs that were prevalent for many years. We still do those. It's still good volume, but we have to have other options with that. We need more space to just store the raw materials to make all that product. Because we're growing, all of our finished goods storage is in Mill Street. So when things are finished at Du Bois, or things are finished on the south side at FLA, or in seating there at Mill Street, all that product is shipped, consolidated amongst 3 floors there, and then eventually put on a trailer to go out to our end users. So we're moving product up and down elevators, just hoping that the elevator doesn't break down. We do the maintenance and everything, but if the elevator breaks down, we would be in for a tough time there. And then just automate, as I mentioned earlier, some material handling, sanding, finishing. There's things we can do there to make us more efficient. So here's some just of the new products that we've introduced in the last few years. If you look in the bottom right, you see bigger pieces with those privacy walls. The units on the left, or the left side, when you get into a 3-seater, you're talking about units that can weigh, a couple hundred pounds, which and bulky in size, get difficult to move around. If we flip to the next, the one on the left there, those are very big units that we just recently introduced, but those are very popular. They provide privacy in open work areas, areas where people can come together, congregate, innovate, create in different work areas. So, those are difficult to move when you got narrow walkways through our current facility. So if we go to the next slide. So one of the things over the last few years we have done is tried to be innovative. 10 years ago, Indiana Furniture was known as a private office wood veneer case good company. Still important. We still do it. We love to do it. But we're not going to be able to be viable long term if we stick with that. So a couple things we've done. We've really put an emphasis on seating, which I've mentioned. And we went into a licensing agreement with a British seating manufacturer. So we have license to all of their European designed seating to manufacture here with our workers and then distribute across North America. So we get a product pipeline that is proven in Europe, and we're able to make it to our quality standards with our people, with our lead times, and distribute that product. So a lot of the product you saw in the previous 2 slides were European designs that we've now integrated into our company. The other thing we've done, and it'll kick off later this year, a U.S. company came to us about 2 years ago and has asked us to begin manufacturing some of our products for them. They're going to market it under a different brand name, sell it through their company, but because of what we've done on the product, they've asked us to manufacture for them. So we've really tried to push ourselves on the product side to be viable. On the manufacturing side, I mentioned the fabric cutting machine, and last year we we purchased and just got it going this year, an autonomous mobile robot, AMR. So it's a little robot that we've got programmed. It's mapped out the entire facility. It has cameras on it, and we tell it to pick up product at point A and deliver it to point B. It goes, picks it up. If you walk in front of it, Kevin, it'll stop. Or if there's something blocking its way, it knows how to automatically go a different way. So there are things like that that we want to continue investing in to stay relevant. And then I said we want to purchase more AMRs, robotic sanding, finishing, and those type of things in the upcoming years. So the details, spend $14.2 million on the square footage of the facility. We want to spend $3.5 million on additional equipment, which would go into our flat line and plywood facilities so that they can better support what we've just transferred down there. From a people side, we plan on moving all of our Mill Street employees over. We do plan on adding 5 employees, and then you see there the wage rate. With our growth, what we're expecting to happen when we move is we are going to get efficiencies in our business because of being on one level, not multi-floored, a more efficient layout. So we realize we're going to gain efficiencies there, but we also realize and expect that with our growth that we're anticipating, we will be able to add additional workers and be able to keep all the workers that we currently have on the team. So for us, this opportunity for the tax abatement is very important because we're not a real big company. So when we look at this opportunity and we do our financial modeling and such, this is a real key part for us to be able to do this and to remain viable part of the community. As the mayor mentioned earlier, and as we've shared in our abatement updates for our current abatements, we've continued to invest in those facilities and machinery and our people and things like that. We intend to do that. But for these really big projects where we're putting a lot of capital up, we really need the support of the city to help us do that. And we're very appreciative of what occurred back in 2011, and we're very appreciative that you're giving us this opportunity to present tonight on this. This was on the ERA. Bernie, you want to just talk about this briefly, just so that they...
The slide, the view on the left there, it just shows our different parcels that are out on the south side today. We just number those 1 through 12, just it's a little bit easier than a 10 or 12 digit identification number. On the slide on the right here, you can see those 2 buildings. It's kind of a bird's eye view, but the building on the left is the plywood facility. The north end of that lighter colored part of that building was the portion related to the 2011 abatement. The building on the right there, the smaller one, that's our flatline facility. We would be adding 165,000 square feet to the south of that, and it would be built, the footprint of that would be built on parcels what we call 9 and 11. So if you would. This is the ERA designation from 2011. It was a rectangle and included parcels we call 7, 8, 9, and 10. And if you would, yep. That's the 2 ERA designations. I'm not going to necessarily reread those unless somebody would like me to. Other than that, I did want to point out down at the bottom there that 2011 tax abatement, it is winding down. At that point in time, there was almost 6.4 million that was spent that fit within that time window at that point in time. And then capital expenditures, we have continued to add those. Over the last 5 years, at just that abated location, over $2 million. If we looked at all of our locations, that number's probably $5 million or plus over the last 5 years that we have continued to invest. And none of that was abated. That all became subject to property taxes immediately. It's just like Max said, for projects of this magnitude, we need more help to be able to pull these kind of projects off. Otherwise,
Bernie, when you say capital expenditures, is that equipment? Or is it
primarily equipment since that point in time, yes. The next slide. And these were the ERA designations for 2021, and that we were asking for that ERA designation from 2011, which included parcels 7, 8, 9, and 10, to add to that parcel 11, which that would be the footprint of our planned addition. And the last slide here, it just shows a layout of that. That horizontal line at the top, that's County Road 100 South. The star in that area just below that county road, that is a parking for employees that we would have. Our employees would enter from that access road just to the left of that parking area. And then the addition is the middle star kind of at the bottom there, it shows the 165,000 square foot footprint of the addition. To the left there, we would try to build some type of connector to our plywood plant. There's a lot of elevation difference there, but we still feel like trying to work through the logistics of a connector would eliminate forklifts and trucks loading up and driving across the parking lot and unloading. That would still be beneficial. And then on the right, that area is where our semis would load out from all the finished goods being produced there, and then we would end up building that access road out to 100 South for the truck traffic to leave that area.
That area for finished goods shipping is only for finished products. It's not for receiving raw materials as well?
Yeah, there'll be, the majority of the docks in that shipping area will be outbound, but there will be an inbound too, because we will have raw materials there for our seating, or it'll be seating component parts primarily. A little bit for our FLA, our existing facility will get some inbound as well, but primarily the vast majority of that truck traffic would be outbound from that point.
And understanding and excited about the new facility out here for you guys and for the city in general. Have we, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it many times, in there, an exit strategy for our Mill Street property?
Yeah, so first off, we're going to keep our corporate office there until we find a buyer for the facility. We have not done anything actively to solicit anything because we didn't know if, with the tax abatement and getting final board approval, our board approval, we've not done anything. Over the last few years, there have been a couple individuals that have reached out to me that said they may have an interest in developing it for commercial space, office space, or potentially apartments or something of that nature. When we know definitely we're moving forward, we would then look to market the building in order to find someone for that property. Then the corporate office would be, you may ask, okay, what happens to the corporate office? Our intention would be is to look at what available space exists in Jasper to move to a space that would accommodate our needs. So we haven't really done a lot of detailed planning because we got to get through this hurdle first. And then look at marketing the property.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Max, I really like your business model. I mean, one of the biggest challenges, besides, you're turning into a world-class manufacturer if people are coming to have you manufacture for them. But one of the biggest challenges is always design.
Yes.
And you're partnering with people that have proven designs. That's a great model.
Yeah, that has been a great opportunity for us on our seating side, and that's really helped to spur our growth. And what we're finding is that because we've upgraded our seating, in the past, we would sell case goods and maybe get a little bit of seating. Now we're starting to see people are attracted to our seating, and we might get conference tables or case goods along with it. So it's really been very successful for us. And, it's not to say we may look at other markets. Is there something in Asia that we could look at the market there, take their designs and manufacture it here in Jasper as well? Because the product pipeline is the key for us, and we just got to make sure we keep enough funneling in to get our customers excited.
That relationship as well. I mean, we sent some folks over to Britain to visit them and also to look at their manufacturing processes and how they manufacture some of those chairs. And we gleaned some things from that process that we brought back then and introduced here that previously we hadn't been doing. So it was some new capability that we learned from them on different techniques as well, which was a great thing for us.
Good deal.
A couple of years ago, after you had your first project done, some council members took a tour, and that really, by sitting firsthand in person, it's just unbelievable what you do out there. So we're excited to take another tour, maybe in a couple of years.
Absolutely. And to me, the AMR, the robot that goes around, is actually fascinating because the technology has been out there where companies have had it, but it's been somehow on just a track, so to speak, through the facility. But this one now is completely automated and has mapped out the floor and knows the quickest way there, and knows that in certain zones it might go slower, and other zones it can go faster. So it's pretty interesting to see.
Very good. Well, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
As before, Kevin had made a motion on Resolution 2021-9. And what was the additional part?
Acknowledging that the new economic revitalization area lies within the central area TIF.
Yeah, all right.
And Nancy seconded.
Nancy seconded. So if no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. Any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Resolution 2021-9 is passed. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is for information only with regard to the annexation of Brookstone 7.
Is that for me? So we've, as you know, been working with the developer on Brookstone 7, which is the most recent addition out in the Brookstone area. They've gone through the planning process, and coming next week, we expect for the petitions for annexation to be filed. There are, I believe, 4 property owners involved in that. The biggest is Kirstein's, but there are several neighboring lots that wanted to participate. So it's all right there.
We haven't seen the plat yet to see how many lots.
Yeah, yep, they've gone through that. 49 lots in the new subdivision, yep.
That's 4 of the other existing, or does that include?
2 other. One is in Green Meadows, which is immediately north, and then the other one is the lot. I don't know if you'll remember this, but there was a single family home that was right on the southwest corner of that subdivision.
Original cat.
Those 2 lots we added as well.
Anything else? University Heights is next month.
We did just get the updated numbers on University Heights today, and that infrastructure cost went up by $65,000. So the new total is $647,000. I did speak to Baker Tilly today, and they said based on that number, there's no need to change any of the projections. There was some cushion. I think we estimated 7 years for the payback, and that should still work. Either way, it's only going to be paid back through the TIF dollars. So that's where that is.
Do you know on that University Heights if they have reconfigured their building taller, lower, in different locations like they were talking to the neighbors about?
I know they did speak to the neighbors, and I believe I'm correct when I say that reconfiguring the height of the buildings was not an option, and that was expressed to the neighbors. I do know they did make changes, or at least a change, based on those conversations, because that change contributed to the increase in cost. But I don't know exactly. I asked for and received a drawing of the layout. It looks pretty much the same. But if you recall, we only had the drawing. We didn't have it superimposed over an aerial. So it's kind of difficult to see exactly where those buildings are located. But I do know they also added a second ingress egress we'll have to work with them on that because where it currently is proposed to come out is very close to the intersection at the corner where the gas station is. So we'll have to figure out if that's workable or not. And then they also increased the cost with the increase in the standard that they used for the other ingress egress. They're being required to build that to city street standards as opposed to a private drive. So those are the components that increased the cost.
And do you know if they'll be coming before another board soon?
So they'll come to the Economic Development Commission for public hearing in June, and then to the Common Council.
They don't go to the planning meeting or anything, planning commission?
Not for this part. There is several processes, not for the approval of the financing agreement, but as far as the platting process and any kind of variance, that will go to the Plan Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals.
But they're not ready to come to those two boards yet.
To my knowledge, they have not submitted any application for those things.
Not for our June meeting yet that I've seen. So July would probably be the earliest we'll see them at plan.
Is there anything else? Nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Kevin.
I'll second it.
Second from Dave. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Good evening.